Hey everybody, it's Jason with the Board Game Mechanics, and today we're going to take a look at a game called, it's a long name, so wait for it, The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Rings, the deck building game. The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Rings, the deck building game, is designed by Ben Stoll, published by Cryptozoic Entertainment, plays 2 to 5 players, ages 15 up. I don't have a time, but it doesn't take very long. You're looking at an hour, 90 minutes maybe, at 4 or 5 players. And effectively what you're doing in this game is, well, it's themed by Lord of the Rings. Let's see if it talks about the theme. The Fellowship of the Ring, you take on the role of Frodo, Gandalf, or one of the other brave and heroic members of the Fellowship of the Ring. While you begin armed with only courage of the free peoples of Middle-earth, as the game progresses, you will add new, more powerful cards to your deck. Doesn't really talk about the theme, but you're playing through like the Fellowship of the Ring, kind of. Not really, but that's what the theme is. So you're taking on the role like Sam, Gimli, Gandalf, I think there's Arwen, a whole bunch of different people you can be, which is going to give you a little bit of asymmetry to your deck, but mostly what you're trying to do is you're going to be using cards. This is a deck building game. You're going to be using cards from your deck to acquire better cards to score points, eventually shuffling those better cards into your deck so they come out to help you get more cards, to score more points, and ultimately defeat the big bads. That's it. So that's enough talking about it. Let's go on the table. Check it out. All right, so here's a game of the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring deck building game, all set up for 2 players. Now, setup's pretty easy. You're going to take this whole stack of market cards and shuffle them up. You're going to flip 5. You're going to find the Valor cards and set them off to the side. They're an always available card that you can buy for 3 power. You're going to have the Corruption cards set off to the side. Those are cards you can get negative points for bad things. And then there's the Arch Enemy deck here. This is how the game's going to end when all of these fellas are toast. Game is over. They're worth higher points, cost more power, but they will also attack you when one is killed. All right. Then each player will take a hero. In this case, we have Gimli and Sam. And in this game, everyone's going to start out with the same cards. You're going to have 2. You're going to have 3 despair, 6 courage. I think 6 courage, and a bravery, which is his personal card. Everybody has their own deck that will they'll be using, and then we'll be ready to go. All right, I think I don't have enough cards. Okay, I do. They were stuck together. And Gimli's going to have his axe. You know, his Gimli's got an axe. And then we're ready to go. So the way this game works is, on your turn, you're going to draw 5 cards. So Samwise will go first, and he's going to draw 5 cards. Then what's going to happen is you're going to play all of those cards. Whether you use them or not, you're going to discard them, so you might as well use them. So cards, there's one currency, and that is power. Power is how you're going to purchase cards. That's the cost down here. This is the points. You're trying to have the most points at the end of the game. And then each of the cards are going to do some different things. They're also going to have a type. We have enemies, we have maneuvers, we have artifacts. There's also locations and allies. A whole bunch of stuff in this deck that's going to come out. We'll see it as we go. So I have 5 power, and I would like to get something good. You can buy multiple cards if you have enough power. So I'm going to do You Shall Not Pass. I have 3 left. That refills immediately. Oh, it does not refill immediately. That's a different game. And I think I will also do Moria Orcs. So that's 5 power. And then those cards will get discarded. And then I will draw 5 more, which is the rest of my cards. Then we'll refill this market back to 5. And Gimli will draw 5 cards. All right. And they have basically the same thing I had, but they have 2 despair cards. So they have 3 power. Despair is nothing, it just clogs up your hand. So for 3 power, I think they're going to... Well, something that gives me a lot of power. They're actually going to just take Valor. And that will go in their discard pile. And then it'll be back to me. So I play with these 5 cards. So I have Despair, Despair, Nothing. All 3 Despairs. That's terrible. But I have my Samwise Bravery card. Plus 1 power. For every 5 cards in your discard pile, an additional power. I have 7 cards in my discard pile. So I have 2 power, 3 power to purchase another card. And I already bought a Moria Orcs, so I'd like to buy another one of those. Those cards work together. That's how they roll. And then now I have to draw 5 cards. I don't have any cards that I can draw, so I shuffle my deck. This is going to let the new cards that I acquire become available to be purchased or to be used in the game. And that's how you're going to make sure you always have 5 cards, because you're going to just keep reshuffling your deck. All right, then we'll refill this. Oh shoot, I should have been paying attention. Some of these cards have ambush. I forgot to look at that when I was flipping cards earlier. I don't know if that's happened. I'll pay more attention to that. It's going to give the player some bad thing. Yeah, I probably missed that. Sorry. All right, so Gimli has his axe, 2 power. You may discard a card. If you do, pay 2 less to defeat an arch enemy, which I still don't have enough. I need 6. It's worth 8. So I only have 5 power and a despair, which is nothing. So 5 power. I think I'm going to grab Frodo, though, because Frodo is killer. All right, then we will shuffle Gimli's cards. All right, Sam's hand. Got some good stuff here. All right, so we have Moria Orcs. If you play or have played one or more Moria Orcs this turn, 4 power. Otherwise, it's plus 1. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 power. And I think I'm going to take another Moria Orc. Wasted a power, but that's fine. Oh, I would have flipped another card too from them. So that would have been out there as well, but that's 7. Okay, back to this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so they have Gimli's Axe. Discard a card to spend to get a 2 discount. That's the same exact hand I had last time. So that's 5. So they will take... Man, that stinks. These cards are so expensive. They'll take the Uruk-hai. Flip a new card. All right, back to me. All right, so I have Sam's Bravery, Despair, which we'll get rid of, Courage. I guess I can't get rid of that yet. Do I have more than 5 cards? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 power. So let's do... Man, what a waste. There we go, the top card of the main deck. Oh, I'll take that. That's cool. All right. And that's their turn. Flip another one. All right, so there's a couple things that I still wanted to show you. So, for example, if an ambush card comes out on someone's turn, then player after the player whose turn it was is going to have to deal with the ambush. So in this case, Gimli would have gotten a corruption. He'd take the corruption card, throw it in his discard, clogs up your deck, worth a negative point. That's all terrible. There's also locations, which are purple. When you play a location, they will stay out in front of you throughout the game. Some things will maybe make you discard them, but they'll give you a special ability as long as this card's out. And then there are also fortune cards that look like that. They're white and they have 0 cost. So if it's in the path, which is the card line here, on your turn, you can take the card and do it and get the bonus from it. Doesn't cost you anything. It's just you found good luck. Good job. So you take that card and do what it says. Now, the way the game, what you're actually trying to do is you're trying to get power to defeat these Nazgul. So if someone had 8 power, they could buy this card. It becomes a card that they can play with. And then they'll flip a new one. And this is going to attack everybody. So in this case, it's also going to cost more power to defeat, worth more points, but in this case it would. Each player reveals a random card from their hand. Destroy each card that shares a cost with another revealed player. So these are just going to kind of add some chaos. They function the same way as like an ambush, but these only hit one. These baddies hit everybody. And you're going to keep playing like I showed you for those first couple rounds until this deck is empty. The last card is Lurtz. You defeat Lurtz for 14, you get 10 points, and the game is over. Then you're going to add up your points, which are those little numbers in the ring. And whoever has the most points, after all that is said and done, is the winner. That's how you play the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring deck building game. Let's go up the top, see what I think about it. All right, well, that was the Lord of the Rings, the deck building game, the Fellowship of the Ring. See, I can't even say the name correctly. You know, well, I've said it twice. You get it. So let's talk about the components of this game. So this game is just cards. That's it. They have a really cool back. There's a bunch of games in this Cryptozoic deck building series, and I've played DC Deck Builder, which is the most popular. There's also an NHL one, National Hockey League. There's Rick and Morty. I think there's Attack on Titan. But I think most of those have a funky back that has the Cryptozoic C on it. This one actually has a map of Middle-earth, which is fantastic. I love the back on these cards. They just look really slick. I enjoy that quite a bit. The art, screen caps from the movie. So what is this? This is a Ring Wraith. You got Legolas here. So the art is just, you know, merry. The art, if you like the movie from the characters in the movie, you're going to like this. So there's not any original art. It's just screen caps. But the cards are nice quality. These are in sleeves. My buddy gave these to me. Or let me have this. And the cards are in a sleeve. I think they're okay quality, but yeah, they're in a sleeve, so they're even better. But yeah, tons of different player powers too. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 different player powers that you can pick from, and you're only at most playing 5 players, so that's pretty cool. Now let's talk about the gameplay. What you saw in this overview is what this game does. I've played DC Deck Builder a ton. I played this one quite a bit, and it is strictly a deck builder. There's nothing else to it. There's no board. There's nothing else. You are using your cards, acquiring better cards to eventually have enough power to defeat the baddies, to score the most points to win the game. That is it. The difference thing with this one that I enjoy that's not in the DC one, at least that I haven't played in the DC one, are those fortune cards, which, you know, the white cards that are in the path here, where they give you just a bonus if they show up on your turn. And also the ambush cards, when the new card comes out, it hits the person to the right, or to that next player in turn order. I don't know if that's in DC Deck Builder because I haven't played all of it. I've only played some base games and a few factions. But I enjoy that. It's fun. It's interesting to me. It has a lot of similarities to DC. Corruption is basically the weakness. Valor is the punch or the kick, whatever that always available card is. Still has a 5-card market. Everybody has a similar starting hand. In DC, though, you have player abilities. This one, you just get a card based on the player that you're taking. So it's a little different, but all in all, the feels are similar. If you like one of these Cryptozoic games, you'll probably like this one. If you have a preference in theme, if you really like Lord of the Rings, this will be the way to go. If you really like DC Deck Builder, or DC Comics, that DC Deck Builder is probably the way to go. But if you're just a fan of deck builders, I say grab any of them. Maybe not NHL, because that can be weird. Old players that you may not even know who they are. But if you don't care about that and you find it for cheap, pick it up, because it could be cool. So I enjoy this game quite a bit. I'd love to play the next couple, the Two Towers and the Return of the King, but they're so hard to find. They're criminally expensive, and that makes me sad. But anyway, I can play this one at least, so there is that. So I'm going to give this a BGM Accept the Seal. This is going to get a 7.5 out of 10 on BGG, which is a 3.75 out of 5 wrenches on our arbitrary wrench scale. That means absolutely nothing, but we like to give it the games that we enjoy, and that's what I'm going to do. I said 7.5 out of 10, right? If I didn't, that's what I'm doing, sorry. As I was talking, I wasn't doing the math in my head. So 7.5 out of 10, 3.75 out of 5 wrenches. There we go. So that is the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring deck building game from Cryptozoic. I'm Jason with the Boardgame Mechanics, and as always, keep gaming.